All right, here we go. This is Sam with Fantasy Football Money League. At FF Money League is the Twitter handle. I've also got Jason Mullins on the line. What's up, Jason?
Hey, how we doing?
Pretty good, man. All right, so for those that don't know, this is Mully's Money Picks. Each week, we bring out the best daily fantasy football picks for you. Jason likes to start off with a haiku. Jason, why don't you tell them how they can get in touch with you and a little bit more about what these picks are for?
Basically, each week I come out with my money picks. These are picks. You've got a few players that are tops at their position, your low risk players for GPP tourneys, and then a couple value plays, kind of contrarian guys, maybe not in a lot of lineups, but could just absolutely go off and win your GPP for you. And if you don't know, GPPs are just guaranteed prize pool, weekly money league type tournaments. So when I make my picks, each week I have a haiku, which kind of starts my thought process for the strategy that I go about making my picks with. So this week I've got targets and touches, the keys to scoring a win. Target the touches. Now, the first week we didn't have a lot to go off of. We were basically looking at matchups and preseason performances, reports, but didn't know what the actual team was going to look like in a real game. Now we do. Now we can look at how players are actually utilized and what kind of touches they're getting. So that's what you want to look at when you're looking at your guys, especially low-risk guys for these GPPs. Target the touches. Target the guys that are getting their hands on the ball a lot. Those are the guys that are going to pay off.
Totally agree. And one thing to remember on DraftKings, you get 1 point per reception. So a guy like Pierre Garcon, he steps on the field, you get 10 points. That's huge. So touches, I agree with. Let's jump into it. All right, running back rankings. Tell me who the must start is in your running back rankings this week.
Um, I hate to say this, I kid, but Arian Foster. I've not been a big fan of Arian Foster in the past, especially when it comes to doing a season-long league. You know, he's a risk when it comes to injuries, but right now, all reports are he's healthy. He looked good. He did get a heavy workload in week 1, and he did well with it. Now, I think that's going to continue moving forward, and I think he's got basically the same matchup this week when they're going up against the Raiders. So I really, really like him as a must-start this week, and the price is right. He's not the most expensive. He is in that upper echelon price-wise, but I think he'll pay off.
He also fumbled in the red zone. I agree. He looks really good. I think Oakland's going to give him up some yards, and I think he's a great play this week. My must start, this is an easy one, but I think LaShawn McCoy, he's in the highest over-under for the week. I think he's going to put up some big numbers. Monte Ball tore up in Indianapolis, and I think he's going to do the same.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what about your value plays in the running back position?
I like Fred Jackson a lot. He's kind of in that lower echelon. Right now, he's still sharing the ball with C.J. Spiller, but if you look at what he did last week, he actually put up 8.7 yards per carry. That was a lot more than what Spiller was able to put up, and he's going up against a Bears D that surrendered he went up against a Bears D, and they surrendered 198 yards to him. This week they're going up against a Miami defense that should surrender some yards to the duo as well. So I like him as a value play, and somebody we were just talking about, which with all the breaking news, Matt Asiata. He's dirt cheap, and we've got no Adrian Peterson with all the news that just broke there. So another good potential play out there for like $3,000, I think, is what he's going for on DraftKings right now.
Yeah, that'll really open up some nice positions for some studs. Totally agree with both of those. Matt, he's kind of an unknown, but and New England usually bounces back after a bad game, but I also like him at home, and he's not bad. I mean, he can catch out of the backfield. He's a quick little guy, so he's not a bad play. I have him in quite a few lineups. I also like Sean Green. Dallas defense is terrible, and Sean Green is the clear-cut starter. Everyone was on Bishop, but he hasn't been getting the touches. McCluster and Sean Green out-touched him last week, so I think that while Green's not going to light it up for you, he's going to get his 17, 20 carries, and he opens up a lot of space for you in other positions.
Yeah, I like Green a lot as well. He's actually gracing a few of my lineups this week.
Yeah, I really like that Tennessee-Dallas matchup.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to wide receivers. Who's your must-start this week for wide receivers?
I like A.J. Green a lot. Last week A.J. Green, he put up a good stat line, but it basically was on one nice play. So he did bail a lot of people out that used him, but I think this week's going to fare a lot differently. He's going up against the Falcons. The Falcons should give up some yards to him. And I think that's going to be a high-scoring affair anyways. Another big factor there, you still got no Marvin Jones, which was the second receiver, so now you're looking at Mohamed Sanu. And then further down the ranks in the tight ends, you've got no Tyler Eifert. He's going to be out for a few weeks, so that's just going to be that many more times that A.J. Green's going to be looked upon and possibly get the potential to score you some points.
Yeah, A.J. Green is always awesome. He's the man. I'm going with Demaryius Thomas. I can't believe his drop in salary. He went down to $7,000. He's a steal. I think he's going to bounce back. They're in one of the highest over-under games of the week. I think they're going to light it up. And D. Thomas is my man this week. I'm pairing him with Peyton Manning in a couple lineups.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's another interesting stat. I believe 6 times throughout his career, Demaryius Thomas has been held under 50 yards, which he had 48 last week. The following week, he's at over 100 yards, and 5 out of those 6 times. So that really just bodes well for him to put up monster numbers against Kansas City.
Yeah. All right, what about the value play at the wide receiver position?
I kind of just mentioned a couple guys there. Well, one guy anyways, Mohamed Sanu. I think he's a good play, but my other pick is T.Y. Hilton. I like T.Y. Hilton a lot in this matchup. Basically, with T.Y. Hilton, you're kind of a boomer bust player. He's a little riskier than, say, Reggie Wayne in that offense. Wayne and Hilton were both targeted a lot, but Wayne's still the go-to guy for Andrew Luck. But you do have a matchup this week with the Eagles that I think they're going to be on the field a lot. I think they're going to be pushing the ball a lot to try and keep up with that Eagles attack. So I like T.Y. Hilton in this matchup.
I think T.Y. Hilton could definitely go off. He's got some competition there, but T.Y. has put up some big games in the past and with a high-scoring game for sure. They've got the highest over-under this week. It's a nice play. I'm going to throw Riley Cooper as a value play. He's at 4,000. Macklin got a lot of attention, rightly so. He's awesome, but I think that he's going to draw Vontae Davis this week, and I think that that might hurt his numbers a little bit. And Cooper still has a really good connection with Foles. Once again, highest over/under. I think they're going to be throwing, and I think Cooper could surprise some people.
Well, and you probably won't see what happened last week as well. I think that they're going to clean it up and come out the gate a little bit stronger to start with, which should just be a lot better for everybody offensively for the Eagles.
Right. All right, QB rankings. Who's your must-start this week in the QB position?
My must-start, it was kind of a toss-up, but I went with Andrew Luck. You just mentioned the over-under. He put up a ton of yards last week. There is the potential for maybe a pick or two there, and I'm not saying that he doesn't sometimes have that risk, but he's going to give you yards, he's going to give you touchdowns, and that team revolves around the arm of Andrew Luck. So I say he's my must-start this week in what should be, again, a high-scoring game.
Totally agree. The thing that struck me this week is the salary disparity between the quarterbacks. What if I told you that Andrew Luck was more expensive than Peyton Manning? He is. He's $100 more at $8,400. Peyton Manning at $8,300. I don't think you can pass that up. The Broncos.
I think we actually have that wrong. I think it's 88 and 84.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, well, still, we're talking about $400 difference for that position. That's
and
nothing.
Drew Brees is actually less expensive. Aaron Rodgers is way down the list because of what he did last week.
It's insane. I mean, normally you'll see Peyton Manning at a $10,000 clip, $9,800, and look, the Broncos don't turn it off. Okay, they go after the team regardless of what they're doing. So I think he's putting up 3-4 TDs. I'm definitely going with a Manning stack this week, whether it's Sanders, Thomas, Julius Thomas, or Demaryius. So for me, the must play is Peyton Manning. I also like Luck. So anyway, let's move into the value plays. Who's your value play for the week?
Again, with the matchup, I like Jake Locker. Look, we all saw what happened last year with Phillip Rivers. He had almost 70% completion percentage. He just had an amazing year, career year under the guidance of Kim Wisenhunt. Where is he now? Coaching Jake Locker in what should be an awesome matchup for him. He's got the weapons, he's got the tools, and I think he puts up a big game this week. Again, like you said, there's a lot of inexpensive guys out there, but I think if you're trying to save a couple thousand, he's your guy.
I'm going to jump on that too. I really like Jake Locker this week. Dallas defense is terrible. Jake has a lot of weapons. When he's healthy and he completes a game, he's one of the highest scoring fantasy QBs out there. He just throws TDs. He's not afraid to air it up, and I think he's going to put up points. Someone else you want to throw in there, I don't know if he's really a value pick, but Andy Dalton, I think that's going to be a higher scoring game than people give it credit for, and I think he's also going to air it out. He's a bit more expensive.
Well, and an interesting stat for you on Dalton. You know, everybody likes to talk about how great Russell Wilson is at home. Last year, the Bengals were also 8-0 at home. So, you know, Dalton plays excellent when he's at home with that stout defense. So just another little tidbit there.
Yep. All right, and I confirmed that you're right. Peyton Manning is at 8,800, so apology for that, but still a great deal on that. All right, tight end. Who's your must-start tight end this week?
I'll tell you what. I like Greg Olsen a bunch. And you know who else likes him a bunch? Cam Newton. Look, Cam Newton's never thrown a pass to any of his receivers right now in an actual NFL game. He's played a little with them in the preseason, but let's not forget he was just coming off an injury from ankle surgery, and he's got this rib injury now as well. So I think he's going to look for his outlet. I think he's going to look for the guy that he knows and trusts. I think Greg Olsen has a big week.
Yeah, I totally agree. Benjamin looked awesome, but Cam hasn't gotten a lot of time with him, and I agree that Olsen is the play here. 5,900. I think he's definitely getting in the end zone. What about the value play at the tight end position?
Man, I have to say Jermaine Gresham. We already talked about it. High-scoring game. You're going to have, a lot of targets to go around and no Tyler Eifert. So now he's the clear-cut guy there when it comes to tight ends. So, again, I think he gets a lot of looks. I think he's the guy to go with. He's only $3,000 right now.
Yeah, at that price tag, I can't pass him up. I've got him in a few lineups. I also like Jason Witten for a bounce-back game. I think they're going to be behind. They're going to be throwing, and a lot of people are fading him. I don't think he's done yet. I think he's got some more in the tank, and he's going to put up some numbers this week. All right, defense. Well, who do you got on defense this week?
I'll tell you what. I like the Cardinals a lot. Look, that defense is a good defense, and I don't think anybody can dispute that the Giants have just looked awful when it comes to offense. They don't really seem like they're in sync, and I think that's just going to be trouble when it comes to facing a really tough defense in Arizona. So I like the Cardinals a lot. And then another time, it's kind of a sneakier pick, and this is a little more dependent upon what the offense does and hoping that the offense doesn't have some turnovers. But I like the Buccaneers. Look, they're going up against St. Louis, and St. Louis really is a lot of uncertainty at the quarterback position. So I like the Buccaneers as a cheaper play.
Yeah, I like the Bucs a lot. And if you look at FanDuel, you can actually see the percentage that people are playing a certain position, and a lot of people are playing the Bucs this week. I also really like the Texans going against Carr, rookie quarterback. MJD's probably out. They're just a mess over there. It is in Oakland. The Texans lost Clowney, but I like the Texans to turn them over, and they're a bit more expensive. But I think the Texans put up some points this week.
Definitely.
All right, well, that concludes Week 2, Mully's Money Picks. Check them out at Fantasy Rambler. Check us out at FF Money League and FantasyFootballMoneyLeague.com. We'll come back at you next week.
Take it easy.
All right, thanks, Jason.